Hello, everybody. It's Julia here. This week's topic is about what are about discrimination. What a situation that happened with us, something like that. And I've had a few situations. I talked to you about what my parents said, pertaining to job, pertaining to a couple of things. Um, but I didn't talk to you about something that happened to me years ago. If you didn't know already, I have been on hormones for a year and 4 months, but I have been out and living as for 10 years, which is kind of unique. Not a lot of people do that, but I did, and I'm happier for it. Uh, you get to a point where you really need to move forward with everything, physically too. You can't just live as for long, because you don't really pass too well. I did pass, but there was one situation when I um, started everything, when right when I started, that um, really sticks out in my mind. Um, this was my first job as Julia, and it was at Boston Market near me, and I got hired by the absolute nicest people, two great managers who didn't give a crap about who I was, what I was, anything. They just were like, if you're a good employee, that's all that matters, which is really all that matters. So, 2 weeks later, they were replaced by two of the worst managers I've ever worked with. Um, One was named Nancy and Farut. Nancy, most of this wasn't her, but she was just a sniveling little, little troll. She was short, red hair, with beady little eyes. She actually had a full on goatee, and she was one of those managers who, ends up, ends up, you walk up to them and they're like, hi, how are you? That's great. Okay, have a nice day. God, I could have shot her. Um, and I wish I had. Uh, yeah, she was just an asshole. Um, but not as big an asshole as Farut was. Farut, that's obviously not an American name. He was from he said he was Persian. Basically means he was from Iran, and he was sexist and really, really horrible, discriminatory. Um, and he would micromanage us left and right, but he did more with me than with other people. Um, he would be like, look, look, look on the floor. There's a piece of something. You must get that up. Like one little teeny tiny piece of something was in between. Yeah. Um, but what I remember most, one of the first days I was there, he actually came to my defense. And Nancy was the one who said something stupid. Um, I know I'm going all over the place, but the first week I was in the guy's bathroom cleaning, and and Nancy, I hear her say, "Hey, where's Julia? Where is she?" And Farouk says, "Oh, she's in the bathroom." And Nancy says, "Oh, well, I wouldn't know what door to knock on." And I was just standing there. I was just like, "Oh no, she didn't." And by that time, I really didn't know them. And I hadn't been at the job long enough to really know what to do in that kind of situation. I was young, so I just let it go. The other manager, Farut, just was like, "Oh no, she's cleaning the bathrooms." there, and Nancy was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, whatever." Uh, Fucking goddamn troll. But anyway, um, the major situation that happened there, there were a couple actually. Um, I did 2 6-month stints there, with another job in between, and he he would always try and set me up with this Mexican dude who he was this old, greasy looking Mexican dude in back. And he would go, hey, you, Victor, hey, Corona, hey, you, Victor, Corona. I'd be like, no, no, and be like, no, shut up. I'd say that many times, but he would still keep going on with it. Again, I was young and naive. Um, so I ended up, well, he would also, at that time, he would also, I don't remember it, but one of my friends who worked there does, remembers, him throwing, bananas in front of my face and going, hey, you like a banana? Hey, you like it? Hey, and laughing. And I was like, no, no, leave me alone, shut up, stop it. But he wouldn't. But anyway, um, I left because of that shit, and I went to another job, and the other job fell through because the location I was at closed. So I ended up looking for another job. Couldn't really find anything for a little bit, but I decided to go out for dinner one night, and ever since I had left the job, every time I went in there for food, the manager would be like, "Hey, you're looking for work?" And every time I'd say no, except for this time I didn't have work and I really was looking. So, yeah, I said yes. He's like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, 750 to 8 an hour, 40 hours a week. And he's like, "We'll give you 750, 40 hours a week." And I was happy. Um, I was content to come back to the job because at that point I was desperate. So the manager at that point, um, we talked about everything, talked about the job and all that, and everything was okay for a while. And then he started doing the same thing with, hey, you, Victor Corona, eh? Yeah. Um, and there was one time in particular I remember. Um, we used to close early on Sundays at 9 o'clock, an hour early. So one Sunday they decided, hey, we're going to be nice and we're going to make some food for you guys. Throw out some hamburgers, hot dogs on our grill, and put some fries in our oven, and give you some salad, and everything will be all nice and hunky dory. And I stayed because I'm not going to give up free food. I'd be stupid to. I was the only employee there that was not Mexican. It was me, a couple of Mexicans, and the two managers. So, I ended up, I was sitting there and I was just, kind of making small talk, and out of nowhere, a hot dog falls on the floor. So, Farouk goes, picks it up, and goes, hey, you like, right in front of my face, hey, you like, kind of like, hey, you like, yeah, I'm getting ready to eat sushi, but anyway, yeah, you like, I was like, stop it, put it down, stop that. And he was like, oh, yay, and kept doing it. I was like, and some of the Mexicans were laughing, and I was like, you know what, that was kind of almost the last straw. Um, Turns out he was just an asshole, too. But there was one day, the last straw, um, I was done with what I was supposed to do on the front line. So I said to the two managers were outside. One was smoking and they were just talking. They were outside the side door, which was glass and they could see us. Um, and so Farooq was the one who was looking in. And so I walked up to another employee and said, "Hey, is there anything I can do to help? Anything at all?" And he thinks I'm just walking up, making small talk, talking about something stupid. And he's like, "Hey, get back to work. I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to see your mouth move. I don't even want to see you talking to yourself." I'm like, "Dude, what the hell?" And I was just looking for something to do. It's like, well, go fill up something on the soda station. So I went over, and so I kept doing my work, and I decided to talk to somebody at the same time. You can multitask like that. And and he looked at me, he heard me, and was like, "Come here, come here, come here." Pulled me outside, kinda. The door was open, and he was like, "Look, I don't want to hear you talk. I really don't. I don't want to hear you talk. Be quiet. I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear you do anything." And so I was just standing there. I was like, what? Shell shocked. But everything that built up in me, it was still at the point where when things built up, they exploded. Um, So things exploded. I went right on the door and ran him back. I was like, "Fuck this!" I ran him back, grabbed my purse, grabbed my shirt that I changed, and went and clocked out. And he comes back and he's standing in my way. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't have to take this fucking shit anymore. I'm out of here. I quit. I'm gonna call the district manager and I'm gonna ask for your head. I don't have to take this fucking shit." And so he says, "Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that, everybody? He said fuck." And I looked at him straight in the face and I was like, "That's she, thank you very much. Bye." And I walked out. And that night, I called the district manager, left a message, and he called me back, talked to me about it, and nothing really happened from it. But about a week later, I went in, and I knew another employee there had had trouble with the same manager and had um, dealt with a lawyer. She had lost her job, and the lawyer was able to get her job back. So I was like, "Hey, do you know the number of this lawyer?" So I got the number of the lawyer, called him. He said, "Hey, I'll do some research and see what happens." And nothing. I didn't hear back from him. I called him a couple of times. Nothing. So basically, I didn't do anything about it. I left, and who knows what's happening. But last time I heard, he was the um, store manager of the second largest store in the company. Yeah, great company, isn't it? Anyway, I'm at 14 minutes, so I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.